Okay, can y'all see me now? Come on in. Where you at? Facebook. Where you at, Facebook? Come on in. Put my glasses on. Hold up. I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm supposed to put it. This ain't gonna work. Alright, let me see. Let's see if I can try it this way. Then y'all can't see me. Pat, I can't use this thing. Pat gave me this thing so I can see better. But it ain't gonna work on on this thing here. Yeah, I can't use it. Not today anyway. I'll put my glasses on. Came out last month. Come on. Hallelujah. Jesus is King. The promised land is just beyond your reach. Hallelujah. Jesus is King. The Lord is great. Oh, I'm supposed to sing that part. I know He's great. In case you guys don't know that, some of you don't know that my baby daughter made that beat. She is very talented. When she first said, "Mommy, I made a beat for you," I was like, "What?" And I listened to it. I was like, "That is some sharp music." Yeah, she made me about 6 beats. Hold on. Letting people know I'm live. I totally forgot to tell people I was live. Hold on. Okay. All right, so let's get into this. Oh my God. Oh, so let's get into this teaching. I haven't been on here in a minute teaching. Well, I taught y'all something the other day, but I haven't shown my face as far as teaching. These glasses are foggy. I didn't clink these glasses. Now I gotta go all the way. Praise the Lord. Yeah. Okay. Listen, guys. I made that video on Periscope this morning about the oil. Do you know all the oil is gone except for 7 of the bottles that I showed y'all? That's this size. And then I got 2 jewel bottles left. 7 regular size, the ones that's 20. And then the jewel bottles, I got 2 of those left, which is 35. All the other bottles I showed y'all gone. I was like, I gotta make some more this weekend. So I'm gonna make some more probably Saturday or Sunday. So I'm mailing out almost 30 packages tomorrow. When I go in that post office, they're gonna be like, oh boy, here she come, because they know when I come in there, I be having some stuff, you know. So I have 7 $20 bottles left, and then I have 2 $35 or more donations for the jewel bottles that I showed y'all, the pretty ones. So I'm gonna order some more of them, but I still have the little crystal glass bottles. I just have to fill them up. I have about 20 of them left. And then I got some rainbow roll-on bottles that I didn't show y'all. They like this tall. They real tall. So those are going to be like 25. And then I got the little crystal white bottles with the gold top with the roll-on. I got like 20 of those left. So those are going to be 20. And then I got like 24 of the big rainbow roll-on ones that I got to make. 20 of those. So when I make them, I'll make a video and then you guys can see them. But as far as the other bottles, they gone. I just got 2 jewel bottles left, $35 or more donation, and 7 of the $20 bottles left. So if you want one of those bottles, I recommend you get them today. Everybody's tomorrow, and I'm not milling out no more again until next weekend. So get it in today, because Miss Pat coming to get me early, and I'm going to be milling out that stuff tomorrow. So I got 7 $20 bottles and 2 35 jewels. And a few of you did not leave your address. And I'm telling you one more time, if you do not leave your full name and your address, it's going to go as a donation. And you won't get any oil, because I'm not a mind reader. Now, I done had to email 3 people. I'm not emailing no more people because I don't like giving out my email. So I had to email 3 people. That's because they had a big order. But anybody who donate after today, you don't leave your address, you ain't getting it, because I'm not going to chase you to get it. Me, when I buy something, I make sure they got the right address. So again, I got 7 $20 bottles and 2 $35 bottles. Everything going out tomorrow. And then I ain't sending out no more till next Friday or the following Monday. All right. Okay, I gotta look close because these glasses is kind of foggy. I already tell y'all the Bible, the King James Bible or the Scepter. Yeah, God is good. Yeah, y'all cleaned me out, which is a good thing. Okay, Frida. Y'all cleaned me out, which is a good thing. What up, Randy? How you doing, Randy? Yama, I got you. I put a book in yours too, Yama. Oh yeah, no more books neither. I gave out the first 20 books. No more books, just oil from now on. So when I make the oil this weekend, I'm going to show y'all, tell you what the donation prices is, because they're going to be different. Look at, hey Terry. Who else is there? Hi David. Who's that? Ruta? Miss Pickin? Okay, hi to everybody. All right, so now let me give y'all teaching. All right, so here we go. All right, now, did you know that your birthday is a celebration for the birth of a corpse? Your birthday is a celebration for the birthday of the dead. There's no such thing as birthdays in heaven. And when I tell you what your birthday really is, y'all gonna, man, I done taught this already, but I just learned some new stuff, you know, about 2 months ago. So I'm going to send it to you, tell you about it, huh? All right. So now, every year, millions of people, maybe even billions of people. I think, Terry, did you order some oil? I'm not sure if I seen your name or not. I'm not sure. I don't know. I know I saw Teresa. I see Teresa, yeah. Okay. Every year, millions and possibly billions of people celebrate their, let me move this sucker. Hold on. So I can see it better. Celebrate their, Randy, you know I'm trying to teach. What are you talking about, Randy? What? I'm mulling along. Glory to God. Hey, Gail, you better hurry up and get your oil, Gail. You done missed out on the books. Because you said you was going to get some oil when we was on Periscope. You done missed out. Only thing I got left is the 7 of the $20 bottles and 2 of the 35 bottles that are jewels. You better get them today, Gail. Else I'm not sending out no more till next weekend, and they're going to be totally different. Okay, so anyway, every year, millions and possibly billions of people celebrate their birthdays with cakes, gifts, and delicious food. What most people do not understand is that a birthday is actually a ritual for celebrating the birth of a corpse, a dead person, which is a dead body. Some of the evidence of this I'm going to tell you is going to blow your mind. Hi, David. Okay, now, why is a birth certificate a death certificate? I'm going to tell you. One of the best... Wait, these days are so cloudy. Why is these glasses so cloudy? There, y'all. Okay. Okay, now. Wait. Okay, now, births, deaths, marriage are words that we need to be very aware of. Now, 2 other words you should pay attention to is body and child. Body and child. Another word you need to pay attention to is include. When the word is sent in an interpretation or definition of a legal matter, it often excludes everything else that is not in that interpretation or definition. Now, like I said earlier, the Birth, Death, and Marriage Certificate and Relationship Registration Act. Did y'all know they had that? It is a Birth, Death, Marriage, and Relationship Registration Act that was done in 1995. Defines the word birth using these exact words, includes a stillborn, because the word include often excludes everything else. The word birth actually means that it only includes a stillborn and nothing else. So do you know that when a stillborn is born, right? That stillborn is still given a name by the government entity. And that birth certificate is still being traded on the market. So when you have not a miscarriage, a stillborn, because although the baby was a stillborn, it was still birthed out of the birth canal into the earth atmosphere. So they still give that dead child a name and trade that name on the trade market like they do a living birth certificate. Wow. Now, for a better explanation of what I just said, basically what I'm saying is this. When a stillborn child is born, it's considered a birth. So anything that is a birth has a name, whether dead or alive. And they still trade it. I sent that 2754. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, but you didn't tell me that in the message. You didn't even put your address in there. So that whole thing went for a donation. You didn't tell me $75 of the $275 you sent me was for oil and for books. And I said 10 and 20 times. How many of you on here can witness that I said over and over again? If you do not leave your address and tell me what it's for, it's going for a donation. Because when they look at my books through the PayPal separates everything from me. So, Gail, I'm sorry. It went under donations because you didn't tell me that $75 was for a donation. I mean, for the oil in the book. And that's not my fault because I've said it over and over again. You guys, I keep telling y'all. I mean, I hate to keep repeating myself. And I keep letting people slide by. I'm not going to do it no more. I went through this with 8 people last month. I done sent out all the oil. And here they come 2 weeks after I sent the oil. I'm talking about they donated for oil. And it didn't even say it. And I was nice enough and sent it to them. But I'm not doing it this time. I'm not doing it. Because what people do is they lie. And I'm not saying you lie, Gail. But they lie and say they sent the donation for oil when they really did not send a donation for the oil. They sent it just a donation. But when they hear me say donation for oil, all of a sudden they donation for oil. See, I'm not doing it anymore. So if you do not put your name and address in there, I will not email you. I will not chase you. And it will go as a donation. Point blank. And you can't say I did not say this to you. All right. So now, anybody today that want those last 7 bottles and those 2 little jewel bottles, you best put your address and full name in that box. Because a lot of y'all don't show your addresses in PayPal. All right. So now. The phrase stillbirth, meaning stillborn baby, stillbirth, is defined as birth of a dead fetus or baby, also known as a stillborn child, right? Which is a child incapable of living or dead. Based on all the previous definitions, the word birth is the word used to express the bearing of only a dead fetus or baby, right? Now let us turn our attention back to the phrase birth certificate and investigate its definition. Now, we already know the hidden meaning of the word birth. So let us examine the word certificate. Black's Law Dictionary, the 6th edition, defines the word certificate using these exact words: a written assurance. So the word certificate means a written assurance. So like when you go to college, you get a degree, but it's actually a certificate of degree. When you get a master's, it's a certificate of master's. When you get a doctorate, it's a certificate of doctorate. A doctorate, right? You go to tech school, you get a certificate. So if you lose this certificate, right? And for your degrees or your technical school, you go to apply for a job and they say you need it. You can't get the job without it. You have to go through all kinds of stuff, go back to your school and try and get it. Because without it, you cannot prove that you actually went to school and graduated. So basically, your whole 4, 6, 8 years of college, or your 1 year or 6 months or 3 months or 1 month of education means nothing without your certificate. So if your school was wiped out, if their data was wiped out and they had no more data to print you out a certificate to prove your education, you have nothing. So everybody's education is just based on a piece of paper and digital data. If the digital data was wiped out and the certificate was wiped out, you'd be done. If your birth certificates was wiped out and the data was wiped out, you'd be done. You have no proof of when you was born and you have no proof that you are who you really are. So it's meaningless. That's why birthdays and education means nothing to God. Yes, he wants us to be educated, but it means nothing to him. He will put a homeless person before you. He'll put an uneducated person before you because God looks at the heart inwardly and outwardly. He could care less about your degrees. Hold on. Although he allows us to go to school and get educated. All right. So now the next time you look at your educational certificates, your birth certificate, your social security number. Just remember, it's just a piece of paper backed up by some digital data. And if that digital data was wiped out, your paper would mean nothing because you have no proof that it ever existed. The digital data, the database, is the meat and potatoes behind your education. Without the data, the paper in your hand means nothing. That's how they set it up. So you know, certificate means assurance. Assuring that you did this, you did that, or you was born, right? Excuse me. So now, it also means the act or action of assuring a pledge, a guarantee, a surety, that you did something or that you was born, right? So one of the words you need to pay attention to that I said previously is the word surety, surety. Now, according to the Same Law Dictionary, the word surety means a person who is primarily liable for payment of debt or performance of obligation of another. Dictionary.com defines the word surety as security against loss or damage or for fulfillment of an obligation, the payment of a debt, etc., or pledge, guarantee, or bond. So this is why we have birth certificates, because our birth certificates are like surety bonds, surety. And many of you know that our birth certificates are like bonds. Many of you probably didn't know they were surety bonds. So this is why when we get born, we get a birth certificate. They instantly put you in debt. Your parents sign you over as a debtor to the government, right? And then the government basically takes you as a debtor, and then they tax the cartooties out of you all your life because your parents pledged you to them. Your parents, even we did it to our own children, we didn't even know it. And I taught y'all about that in another video that's on YouTube and on here somewhere, right? In Periscope, I think. Right? So when your parents sign your birth certificate, they're legally signing you over to the government as a bond, a surety bond. And that instantly puts you in debt because it's like the government bought you from your parents. Yes. And you instantly become indebted to the government because they bought you from your parents on a slick note. Parents don't even realize it. So therefore, you have to start paying taxes. All debtors have to pay taxes. So they make us debtors the moment we were born and the moment our parents sign us over. Because what happens is the doctor helps to bring you in. So the doctor is like a dock captain that declares goods, declares a product. Okay. I'm like, boy, they done hit every side, right? So this is why we pay taxes, guys, because we're debtors. We are surety bonds that they are collecting interest off, but we are still debtors because our parents signed us over. And so this is why they tax the crap out of us, because we're paying back a debt that will never end until you die. You won't stop paying taxes until you die. Or you get old and start getting Social Security. Don't be surprised they start taxing that one day. Okay? So now, based on previous definitions, a certificate is an insurance of a debt or a bond. So your birth certificate is an insurance of a debt or a bond. So even when you graduate college, right? Even high school, although high school is free if you don't go to a private school or a Catholic school, right? So if you go to a regular high school, you think it's free. No, it's not. Let's say you live in Atlanta, Georgia, right? And Atlanta, Georgia got a lot of public grammar schools and high schools and stuff like that, right? So you think it's free. No, it's not, because everybody in Atlanta is paying school taxes. Every state has school taxes. You may not see it coming out of your money, but it's coming out. Everybody's paying taxes on these schools that so-called is free, and they're not. So this is why when your child graduates the 8th grade, they get a bond of they get a bond, surety certificate saying that they paid their way through school. High school, the same thing. Free high school, taxpayers' dollars. You get a high school diploma. All it's saying is you paid for your education. You go to college, you go to technical school. You get loans to pay for this school, right? You still got to pay those loans back, right? So when you graduate the school, they give you a surety certificate, which is a bond in actuality, telling you paid your way through school. That's what your certificates mean. It means you paid your way through this college or this tech school, and this is what you took, and this is what you're qualified in. But you paid your fees. You paid your debt. So now we give you an assurance certificate, which is nothing but a surety bond to prove you paid your way through college. Then you got to turn around and pay the doggone student loan, which is a sham too. Because education is free, guys. All you got to do is read the Bible. And I know this girl. I told y'all this before. When I was going to college in Virginia, she went to the library for 2 years. We was the best of friends. She taught me stuff that I wasn't even learning in Bible school. She went to the library for 2 years every day. By the time she finished, she could have had a master's degree. Went open her own ministry, and the last time I heard was very successful. But in the beginning, nobody wanted to take her seriously in the ministry. Why? Because she ain't had no certificate of surety. And people go through that today. If you're a pastor and you want to go and apply for a job in a church, the first thing they ask you is, do you have any type of credentials to prove you went to Bible school? And if you say no, chances are they're not going to want you to be a pastor in that school because you ain't go to Bible school. You see how the system is? So now, according to the same law dictionary, the word surety means a person who is primarily liable of payment of a debt or performance or obligation of another. Okay, like I said, dictionary.com defines the word surety as security against loss or damage or for fulfillment of an obligation, payment of a debt, a pledge, gratuity, or bond. Right? So now, based on the previous definition, a certificate is an assurance of a debt or a bond. When you put the word birth and certificate together, which is birth certificate, they become the phrase birth certificate, meaning a debt or bond or a dead baby. In other words, a birth certificate is a death certificate. Why is a birth certificate a death certificate? Because debt is debt. Death. Debt is a sin. Debt is death. And I'm going to prove to you that debt is death. The spirit of death is connected to the spirit of debt. And I'm going to prove it to you. When a person gets in debt, they life was volatile. They were rich, had all the luxuries. And how many people we know and we have seen on TV in real life that this has happened to? Overnight wiped out, or in a matter of months wiped out. They lose their mansion, lose all their cars, lose all their money. They become penniless and poor. Some people kill themselves because of debt. Somebody just committed suicide the other day. Who was it? Oh, I just heard it on the news. Can't remember, but he went in debt and lost all his money and he killed himself. So most rich people cannot handle being impoverished. And a lot of them wind up killing themselves. So you tell me that the spirit of death is not connected to the spirit of debt. And when people lose everything they have, right? And their good life is gone, that good life is now dead. Now they're in poverty. Poverty brings the spirit of death. Because when people in poverty, they join gangs and they get killed. They rob and they get killed. Or they wind up going to jail and get killed. Or their life is taken from them. Do you know if you get a life sentence, that's death to you? You ain't never coming out again. You get 30 years let's say you get 5 to 30 years in prison. 5 to 30 years of your life is dead. Although you in the prison alive, but your life is dead. You can't do nothing. You stuck in 4 corners. So the spirit of death is definitely attached to debt. So this is why your birth certificate is a dead birth certificate, because you are an surety bond. And if you don't pray and say, Father God, remove the spirit, you say it with me, Father God, in the name, this is serious, guys, because it'll change. This will change a lot of implications in the spirit realms for you. Father, in the name of Yeshua Jesus, I did not know that my parents signed me over as a debt to the government, and I became a dead entity, which is a surety bond for them to draw off of, Father God. I rebuke it, I reject it, I cancel it, I void it out with the blood of Yeshua Jesus. I'm not dead. I am alive in the spirit with you, and I'm alive in this cocoon of a body in Yeshua's name. And although, Father, I can't stop them from doing what they're doing, you surely can. And Father, all the implementations in Yeshua's name that this has occurred in my life, spiritually and physically, and in my environment and in my atmosphere, Father, I rebuke it and I cancel with the blood of Yeshua. I kill the seed, I kill the root cause in Yeshua's name. And I wipe my parents' signature off of my birth certificate in the spiritual realm with the blood of Yeshua Jesus. And I ask you to burn that birth certificate up in the spiritual realm. Although we still have to use it on this earth. In the spiritual realm, it has no validity nor volatility over my life anymore, so that the powers that should not be cannot use me anymore to gain riches of the enemy. In Yeshua Jesus' name, nor my children or grandchildren. And I seal this in the blood of Yeshua to infinity. In Yeshua's name. This will wipe off a lot of implications that has occurred in the spiritual realm because of this. And every time and I'm going to tell you something. After this teaching, you go ahead and you celebrate that pagan day, which is your birthday, or your children's birthday. Do you know, after the prayer you just said, you lock yourself in bondage with them again? Why? Because it's a ritual. Every time you celebrate your birthday, whether you have a party or not, whether people give you a gift or not, just you acknowledging it's your birthday, you just opened yourself up to the birthday death ritual. You just agreed with the powers that should not be. So you go and you celebrate your birthday after this. You're going to be right back in bondage. That prayer you just said, out the window. And the devil will accuse you all day long, because now he knows you know the truth about what the birthday means. So you're going to let people put pressure on you if you want to. All right. So now, based on the previous definition, a certificate is assurance of a debt or a bond. And when you put the word, I read that part. Okay, now, the day your parents signed your birth certificate, right? Which is really your death certificate. The certificate with your name on it, they unknowingly, like I said earlier, agreed to turn you into a stillborn child or dead child. A dead child does not have natural rights, okay? This is why the government can take away your property, seize your bank account, and throw you in jail for violating their so-called laws. So when our parents had us, and even when we had our own children, we signed over our natural rights of that child. And we also signed over the natural rights of the child. So you never wonder why the government can seize your assets for no reason or anytime they want to. Okay, like this stimulus package just coming out, the $1,200. And whatever else they're going to give us, because they supposed to be doing something else, right? Do you know, a year or two from now, if they decide they want us to pay that money back, they can seize people's bank accounts, because now they have them. You might want to go and close out your bank account, get a new one. And it doesn't even really matter. Even if you get a new one, as long as they got your full name and your social security number, all they got to do is run your name and social security, and whatever. IRS is, man, you will not believe what they could get, and the feds and the government. Just run your name and social security number, everything you own, all your children, your husband, every place you ever lived, all bank accounts you ever had or you have now, all investments. It don't matter. They can seize it to pay back that debt. And why can't they do this? Because your parents unknowingly agreed and sold you to them as a dead child, as a dead entity, and they made you into a surety bond that draws interest. People, you know, bonds draw interest. And so, and then your parents gave up their natural rights to be your parents. That's why parents have to go to court and file for custody. You know, when the custody battle starts to come, the lawyer will tell you, well, we have to go and file for you to receive full custody to stop the other parent from getting custody. So why would you have to go and apply for full custody? Why would a father that's having problems with the mother because they broke up a divorce, why does he have to go to court and claim partial custody of visitation rights when he had the child? Because he gave up his natural rights when he signed that certificate. It's a sham. So they can seize everybody's assets if they want to pay back this trillions of dollars they already gave out and they plan on giving. And just know this, our country doesn't give us anything for free. They send billions of dollars to other countries and don't require no payback. But they don't want to do you know how hard it was for people just to get $1,200? 20 million people still didn't get it yet. And here they is now. First they're going to give you $1,000, $2,000 a month, then $1,000 at the pay rate. Now they done cut it down to $1,200 package again. Come on, y'all. The government does not want to do nothing for us. And I'm going to tell you why they don't want to do nothing for you. Because you are a debt to them. Why would they want to invest money into a debt that's a dead stillborn child, or dead because it was born and the mother and father gave over the rights to the government? So you are their debtors. You are the one that's paying their taxes. You are the ones that's paying to have the streets paid, to have this fixed, to have this built. You are the one paying the president's $400,000 salary and all the people in the White House based off of your taxes. So why would they want to give you something when you are the debtor yourself? That's why you only got $1,200. And I guarantee you, whatever's coming out next ain't going to be much more. Because they can't give you that much money because you are debtors. You are debtors. When people tell you happy birthday, you just say, I don't do birthdays. Nobody don't even tell me happy. Well, most people don't even know my birthday, but my family members and my close friends who know my birthday, when my birthday come, they don't even, my son was like, Mom, I ain't even going to tell you happy birthday. And Mother's Day just came. He was like, Mom, I ain't even going to tell you Mother's Day, but you is a mother. Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back. Hold on. It's getting hot in here. I got to turn my fan on. I'm coming. 1 second. You know, so, but until my family and close friends got used to it, when they would tell me that, I'd be like, y'all know I don't celebrate birthdays. I rebuke that. That's pagan. They'd be like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Sorry. That's all. So you just tell them, I don't celebrate birthdays because it's pagan. And they be just as quiet. Do you know some of them will actually tell you they know? They tell you they know. Christmas too. They'll tell you, oh yeah, I know it's pagan, but Jesus was born that day. I said, Jesus was not born that day. Jesus was born between September 15th and September 25th. Christmas is Satan's birthday. And I prove it to him. And then I tell him about my book called The Secrets of Christmas on Amazon, on Barnes and Noble's, The Secret Behind Christmas. It got all the pagan days in it and proof that they all pagan. Crazy. All right. So that's what I'm saying. So I read today, or I heard in the news, I think it was the news, that the Republicans have said no to Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats' care package to give out to people. And the Republicans said they should take it slow. Now check this out. Why would the Republicans, because Trump already know he gonna win, because I keep telling you this stuff is rigged. Trump already knew he gonna win. God said he was gonna win, and I ain't the only prophet that God has said that he gonna win again. Although I was one of the first ones. When he first won, I told you he was gonna win, and then I told you when he won, he's gonna win again. But now God has started to reveal to other people, so it ain't gonna hurt the Republicans to say no. So why do you think they said no? And why do you think they said we should take it slow? Why would you take it slow when you got half of America unemployed, hungry than a mug? You know what I'm saying? They said domestic violence has gone up. You know, they claim people still dying from the virus. So why would you not want to help the people? Because they know we are debtors to them. And nobody wants to pay a debtor. If you loan somebody $500, right? And they come back to you, ask for some more money, you might give it to them. But then they come back a third time, you ain't going to give them jack till they pay back the first time. And then when they pay you back and they come again, you ain't going to give them nothing because they took too long to pay you. That's the government. So I'm telling you, these $1,200 stimulus checks that they done gave out, trust me, they going to get it back. They're going to get it back through taxes. But one day there's going to be a virus that's going to come that's going to be so huge, and it's going to be from God this time. And it's going to be so huge, it's going to break the back of America. And they're going to seize everybody's bank account. They're going to seize everybody's checking account. They're going to seize everybody's investment. This is why you think they want to make money digital, guys. See, paper money, you can hide that under your bed. You can bury that under your carpet. You can bury that in your backyard. You can bury it in your storage room. I used to watch Storage Wars, and when they buy storage, they would find thousands of dollars in the storage because the person died and didn't tell nobody in the family the money was in there. You know, and the family don't pay for it. What? Anybody died in my family that got a storage, I'm checking it out. I'm saying. Okay, so you can hide cash money. You can hide coins, but you can't hide digital money. So when everything goes all digital, and when this big virus that God's going to send one day in the future break the back of this country and other countries, they're going to seize your assets. Remember Greek. Remember Italy. Remember those countries I told you that was going to go bankrupt a couple years ago, and they did. And their banks seized the money. You want to know why our banks didn't go down because of the coronavirus? I'm going to tell you why our banks. You notice none of our banks went down. You notice none of the banks collapsed. Maybe like some little ones, a couple of little ones, and they just started to collapse. But you want to know why they didn't collapse? Because the SBA loans and the EPIL loans. That's why they didn't collapse. The government allowed, you got to get this. I'm giving you some serious wisdom from God here. Okay? The big banks were the ones that got the SBA and ELID loans first. They were pushing out the little banks. So after they went through billions of dollars, the government said, okay, no more loans to the big banks. Now we're going to give them to the little banks. But by that time, some of the little banks have already closed. So the little banks that they don't want to close, they allowed them to start taking applications for the SBA loan and the EPLID loan. Get it? So this is why the big banks did not collapse, because the government allowed them to take the billions of dollars and give it who to they want to and gain interest at the same time to keep them afloat. So when they started giving money to the little banks, they saved what little banks they wanted to save. Come on, y'all. You got to open your eyes. You got to see what God is showing us. Only God could tell me something like this, because I don't know these things. I don't know these things. Only God can tell me this. Because our banks should have collapsed, guys. Because there's a prophecy in my book called Prophetic Mantle, Past, Present, and Future from 2012 to 2022 or 23 prophecies. And in there is a prophecy where all banks are going to close. And there are going to be 3 major banks in America. There will be no other banks but these 3. And in other countries, there will be 3 major banks and no other banks. And I thought that it was going to happen now because of the virus. But the daddy said, you know why it didn't happen? Because they gave the loans to the big banks first, because they draw interest and they even get to keep some of that. Okay? And so then when the little banks started closing, it was like, okay, they making y'all think they doing something fair. Oh, we gonna cut off the big banks now and let the little banks. Yeah, because the little banks that they didn't want to collapse, they had to allow them to get the loan. And now I read they're not giving the loans out to anybody else anymore, but which is agriculture, meaning the farmers. So many farmers have collapsed. The farming industry has collapsed. But now they trying to bring it back. So now those are the only people who are getting these type of loans from the government now. And I'm gonna tell you another nugget. Lord said, remember a lot of these big companies that had got billions of dollars from the SBA loans and they gave it back? They gave it back with no problem because they made millions of dollars off the interest. So yeah, they're going to give it back and make it look like they're doing something good so it can have money for the small businesses. But they made millions off the interest. And the SBA and the government knows that. It's all a sham. It's like, you wash my back, I'll wash yours. But what can you do about it? Nothing. Only God can do something about these things. Right? So now, the day your parents sign your birth certificate or death certificate, like I said, with your name on it, they unknowingly agreed to turn you into a stillborn child, a dead child. A dead child does not have natural rights. This is why you have no rights. This is why they can seize anything you have at any given time. Yeah, they got to come up with a reason, but trust me, they can come up with one. Okay? This is why they could take homeless people off the street. I read that they take homeless people off the street, put them in FEMA camps, and you never hear from them again. This is why the Antichrist, when the Antichrist rises, and they're going to put demands on people. Like, if you don't go to church on Sunday, you ain't going to eat, you ain't going to do this, you ain't going to do that. Because you became debtors to the powers that should not be. Who is over the powers that should not be? Lucifer. So this is why when his son of perdition, the Antichrist, arises, he will be able to take over the entire world because the entire world has been deaded to him. You get it? God, it's right in Revelations. You never thought about this? You never thought about why God is allowing Lucifer's son, which will probably be Satan himself, come in the flesh and take over for 7 years, or who knows, it could be longer. We going through it right now. You know what I'm saying? He just ain't revealed himself yet, but he going to. You ever thought about why God is allowing him to be able to take over the whole world and tell us, whoever's here, if you don't go to church, you ain't going, on Sunday, his religion, you ain't going to eat. In the book of Revelation, it says it's going to take you a whole week's paycheck to buy a loaf of bread and oil to cook. Why? Because by the time the Antichrist rise, things is going to be so high. You see stuff going up now. Things are going to be so high. It's going to take a whole week's paycheck just to buy a loaf of bread and oil to eat. Meat and stuff probably won't even exist by this time. And if it does, it's going to be so expensive, only the rich of the rich can buy it. Soda, juice, tea, coffee will be a luxury to rich people because normal people won't be able to afford it. Because if it takes you a week's worth of pay to buy bread and oil, imagine what it's going to take you to buy some coffee, tea, juice, soda, milk, rice, eggs. Some people just aren't even going to never even eat those things again. So what God is telling us in Revelation by saying to you it's going to take you a whole week of paying by bread and oil, he's trying to tell you some things that we eat now, they won't be eaten then because it'll only be for the rich. And then some things won't even be here. Meat might not even be here because animals are dying left and right. And if the chickens are dying off, it ain't going to be no eggs. If the cows dying off, it ain't going to be no beef. No, you oink oink pork eaters, which you shouldn't eat. Pigs die off, ain't going to be no more of that. Look at lamb. I went to Israel 2 years ago. Couldn't find a piece of lamb. Lamb over here in our country is so expensive. And I love rack of lamb. So why is lamb so expensive? Because ain't that many of them. Then you got these killer hornets over here, just making it over here on the borderline of Washington and Canada, and they kill the bees. So if they kill the bees, our environment will be unbalanced because the bees help our environment. And then they can be killer bees. They kill about 50 to 100 people a year or more. And I saw them on TV. These suckers this big. And one day, locusts will make it to America. I'm telling you, they done made it to so many other countries. The only reason why locusts ain't made it here yet is because God's hand is preventing them from coming here. Because if the locusts make it here, oh, America's in trouble. Have you ever thought about why the locusts have never ever made it here? Because God is protecting us. Although America is under judgment. Let me tell you. God got judgment on this hand and protection on this hand. Why? Because it's 2.9 billion Christians worldwide. And we got 400 million people here. So let's just say 100 million are Christian. So as long as you got light and salt of God in a certain part of the world, although he judges, he won't let other certain things come to other nations, come to us. Do you know God can judge and bless at the same time? Read Deuteronomy 28. What it said. When you first go to Deuteronomy 28, it tells you about the curses of God. Right after that, what it tell you? The blessings. So that's telling you, see, you got to open your eyes and understand the Bible. He telling you by putting the curses there first, that's his left hand. And then by putting the blessings second, that's his right hand. So he's telling you, I can judge and I can bless at the same time because I got two hands to do it. That's what he's telling you. So this is why the Antichrist will be able to just take over and do what he wants. And this is why God is going to allow him, because we've been in the book of Revelations from probably since the 1920s. I'm telling you, the seals have been popping, chock-a-locking the whole time. Everybody like, oh, we in the first seal. Daddy told me in 2018 we was in the 6th seal. Now he tell me we in the 8th seal 2 years later. Come on now. The time of God is not like our time. Do you know that there's about, 14 to 18 different seals? If you read the book of Baruch 1, 2, and 3, you will learn that there's between, 14 to 18 seals? They only gave us 6 or 7 in the book of Revelations. Why? Because the devil didn't want you to know. Excuse me. Lucifer ain't want you to know about them other seals. See, Lucifer's whole game is to deceive the masses. Lucifer's whole game is to keep you distracted. Lucifer's whole game is to keep you unknowing. Lucifer's whole game is to keep you unprepared. Lucifer's whole game is to keep you dummied down with no knowledge, because knowledge is power. And knowledge is deliverance. Wisdom is deliverance. Just why you got to read them canon books. Them canon books was in the book of King James. The Catholics took it out and put their devout Greek version in there. And said those books were not of God. Why? Because it got mad truth in them. And when you start reading them, you'll be like, whoa, this lines up with the Bible. This is the missing information that I was looking for in the Bible. And they know most people are not going to read. And they know most people are not going to seek knowledge. They're going to just believe what man says. Why you think God said in the book of Matthew, if you believe man, he'll take you to hell. But if you believe me, I'll give you everlasting life. Because he telling you, giving you another nugget. He giving you another secret. He telling you, hold on. He telling you there's going to come days where man is going to believe man. And that's going to lead you straight to hell. Let me tell you. Now, a very important thing you need to know about your birth certificate is that it is a document of evidence. Your birth certificate is a document of evidence. It is somewhat similar to a receipt of an unpaid item. Because of this, you do not legally own your own birth certificate. This is why they're able to trade your bond certificate on the stock market and make money, and you don't get a dime. And once you find out about it, you have to pay thousands of dollars to own your own. You have to pay thousands of dollars to get your birthright back, to get your naturalization rights back, right? and to erase your name off of the ledger of the powers that should not be, debt registry. And then you're not an American anymore. You're like a separate entity. You can still live in America, or you could choose to live somewhere else, but you're a separate entity. And they will watch you like a hawk for the rest of your life. And they will try to find all kinds of ways to lock you up. Why? Because they're mad at you. Because you done found enough knowledge to know what they did to you at birth. You done paid thousands of dollars through lawyers and so forth. And you done restructured and reversed everything they did to you and make you a free agent. And they don't like that. So if they can't have you, they will follow you the rest of your life until they can set you up and put you in jail. This is why most people don't do it. If you got $5,000, you could do it. I know a guy who did it. I had a long conversation with him last year. He gave me a lawyer and everything. And I prayed about it. God told me not to do it. He said, because it would hurt my ministry. I would not be able to I would not be able to have a ministry. I would have to give all of this up. All of this up. And he didn't want me to do that. So that's why I didn't try and do it. And then he said, if you do it, they're going to be on you for the rest of your life. They will try and find every way to put you in prison and keep you there, because they'll be mad because you found out the secret. And see, they don't care about you finding out the secrets. It's when you act upon the secrets is what they care about. They don't care. They know this knowledge is out here. They know people know these things. Not many, but they know some know it. And they don't care. It's when you pay money to reverse these things. That's what they don't like. You know the devil don't like to lose nothing that he thinks he owns. And you'll be taking away the naturalization rights that they have over you. You won't be a debtor anymore. You won't be a dead entity anymore. They can't use you no more in the stock market. And see, they don't like that. The enemy don't like when he can't have his way. But there's many people out here who has done it. And you even get money after you do it. You actually get money. They owe you millions and you actually get it. They actually give it to you. And you say, why? Because they made the system. They made it that way. So because they made it that way, they have to honor it when someone finds out and goes and applies it. See, they don't care about you finding out. So when you apply it, that's what they don't like. Excuse me. But there's a lot of people out here who have done it. But you have to give up everything. Social security number, all that. But who cares? You get a lot, you get money. But still, you ain't going to enjoy your life because they're going to be following you everywhere you go. This is why, let's say, you want to move to Canada. Or you want to, let's say you want to move to Canada for good. Or you want to move to the UK for good. I mean, you can still move to the UK, and I believe Canada, and still be an American, but you don't get all the benefits until you become a permanent resident. So you have to renounce your American citizenship. Why do you have to renounce your American citizenship if you want to be a citizen of another country? Because you're indebted to this land. You're indebted to this land. So you have to renounce it. But because you are indebted to this land, they will still use your birth certificate as a surety because you were born and naturalized on this part of the world. So they will still be able to utilize you even though you renounce your Americanship here for another country. But they still own you. I mean, they don't own you if you say your prayers and be right with God. Now, like I said before, your birth certificate is a document of evidence. It is somewhat similar to a receipt of an unpaid debt. Because of this, you do not legally own your birth certificate. To be more specific with you, your birth certificate is a bond sold into commerce. The banksters who brought the bond birth certificate is the legal owner. The truth is that you do not legally own anything. This can be proven by reading Senate Document 43. Look it up, Senate Document 43. In one of the paragraphs of this document, it says the ultimate ownership of all property is in the state. Individual so-called ownership is only by virtue of government, law, amounting to mere uses, and uses must be in accordance with law and subordinates to the necessity of the state. So go look up the Senate document 43. You don't own jack. You think you paid all that money for your house. You built that house with your bare hands. Okay, you might have got a loan, or you might have paid for it yourself. Why you think you pay taxes on the land? Why do you think after a year or two? I took this small real estate course last year, no, 2018, and I learned that when people don't pay their taxes for like a year or 2 or 3, right? You can go and auction. They have like an auction on tax liens, right? You go on auction on these tax liens, and you may only have to pay $2,000 for this tax lien, right? And then what happens is the owners of the house, they have to meet you, and you have to sit down and tell them, look, I got the tax lien over your house, and you have to give them 1 year to pay those taxes. If they pay those taxes in 1 year, then they have to pay you the $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 that you paid at the auction to get their tax lien, right? But if they don't pay you, then you can seize the house. Or if they don't pay their taxes, then you can seize the house for a couple of $1,000s. I just didn't try it yet because I was supposed to take this other real estate course, but I never got a chance. And the guy told me when I'm ready, let him know, because I had paid him the $300, but I just never got a chance because you got to go away. Like they have it in different states, so you got to go away. And it's for like 3 days, 10 hours a day. And so every time it got time for me to go, I couldn't go. So I told the guy I'm going to try and come this year before the year is out. So once I go to that, I'm going to learn a whole bunch of stuff. But if I knew, I know enough to go to the auctions and do it, but I don't know the other things that I need to learn. That's why I haven't done it. But if you got $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in your pocket right now, and you knew about these tax liens, you could go and buy a lien off of somebody's house, but you got to give them 1 year. And in 1 year, if they don't pay the lien back, you own the house. So if they pay the lien back and they don't pay you what you paid for the lien, you own the house. Why is it so easy to take somebody's house from them based off of missing $2,000, $3,000 in tax on the land your house is on? The government do. So if the government want to auction off your house because of your late tax lien payments, they could do it. Why you think the banks could come and seize your house when you don't pay back your mortgage loan? Because banks are ran by the government, the black government, the government behind the scenes. And remember that man in Texas, some rich oil tycoon, Bundy, his name was Bundy, Ted Bundy. They seized everything he owned, and he paid for that stuff. He didn't get no loans. He built that stuff with his bare hands. Why was they able to take it from him? Nobody never figured out why they took that man's property. Because he was a debtor to them. His parents signed him over. Who's in an apartment, Rose? Wait, I gotta read your first day. Yes. House was... Yeah, they take it from you. This is why they're able to do it. Now you know, because you're a debtor. You're a debtor. And everything you own, you got the mortgage with your name on it. I mean, you got the certificate of mortgage. You have the certificate that says you own the house. So that's a certificate of assurance proving you own this house, right? You have your certificate of assurance proving you own your land, right? You got the car deed, which is an assurance of a certificate that you own it, right? But the government could come and seize stuff at any time, even if you pay cash for it. Your car sits on the land. Your car, you park your car in the street, or you park your car in your garage, or you park your car in your driveway. Isn't that the land that America owns, which the government own, which they really don't own? God owns it, and God gave it to us for free, but they done claimed it and made laws, right? And people adhere to it. still to this day. So when you park your car in the street, park your car in the driveway, or you park your car in the garage, you still parking it on the land that you pay taxes on. So that's why they could take it. Truck, car, whatever you have, because you park it. This is why when you don't pay your car loans, they can come and seize it, because it's sitting on the land of the government, so they can seize it. This is why, guys. Don't matter if you pay cash for your house, you built it up, you still paying land taxes. And as long as, I wouldn't care if you had a house you could put on wheels and you could drive it somewhere else. All the land in this country and abroad, some government has taken ownership of it. And it was allowed. It was written in the books in the 1776 Act. It was written as a law, and man accepted it. And now it's gotten to the point where it's so erroneous, no one could go against it. So this is why they can take your stuff. And they want you to celebrate your birthdays. They want you to have a birthday cake. Look up where birthday cakes really come from. You'll be shocked. Pagan. It's in my book, Secrets About Christmas on Barnes and Nobles. Look what it means to give a birthday gift. I'm not saying you can't give a gift, but like when you wrap it up real pretty in a bow, you need to know what gifts mean. The gifts come from the forest. The birthday cakes was made for the moon goddess. The first birthday cake ever made was made by witches for the moon goddess. And gifts come from the forest. Christmas trees come from the forest, the demonic forest of the devil. Mistletoe, all of that. Wreaths, Christmas wreaths from the forest. So when you buy those trees and those wreaths, you're bringing his kingdom right into your house. There's this channel called Unbelievable, I think it's called. Shelly sent it to me a couple of months ago. And I'll be watching it. And all types of entities be coming in people's houses, be coming in their backyard. Stuff you ain't never seen before. Shocking. You want to know why these things can come up in your house? Or be in your house? Or be around your house? Or be in your backyard? Because they coming out the forest. Because you bringing them Christmas trees in your doggone house. Putting them wreaths and mistletoe on your doggone door. Doing Christmas rituals. So you open the door for these things to come up in your house. It's called Unbelievable. Something like that. Look it up on YouTube. I done seen creatures on there I ain't never seen in my life come up in people's houses. A little boy was on his camera and the little dwarf came from behind the dresser. I'm like, what? I'm like, Daddy. And he was like, well, if they stop bringing these pagan forest things in their house, the trees, mistletoe, wreaths, and celebrating the ritual, these things will not be able to come into the house. Now, did I say this part already? Yeah, I said that part. Did I say that? I said that too. I said that too, I think. This government take away. Okay, so now, a very important thing that you need to know about your birth certificate. Hold on, y'all. My nose is itching. 1 second. A very important thing you need to know about your birth certificate is that it is a document of evidence, right? It is somewhat similar to a receipt, like I said, right? So now, because of this, you don't own anything, like I said. So your birth certificate is a bond sold in the commerce, like I said. So now, there is a bankster. And when I say bankster, it's a government bankster that owns a government bankster, a roster that has multitudes of names. And they own the birth certificates. And there's lots of banksters in powers that should not be, right? So now, why you think the Rockefellers and what was the other one? Rockefellers and the Rockefellers, they here in America. Then you got the other rich family that's in the UK. Why you think they were the ones that started banks? Why you think they so stinking rich? Why you think they just as rich as some of them Saudi oil men? Because they the first ones to open up the banks, and they're the ones that thought about this. So all their billions of dollars they made off our birth certificates. They made off of birth certificates. When they made the banks, that's what they based the banks off of. They based most banks back in the day, if you do your research, was not built off of money. They were built off of surety bonds. You can look this stuff up yourself. They were built off of surety bonds. It's not money that keeps the banks rolling. Although money floats through the banks like water floats through the river, you know, it's the bonds, it's the sureties, it's the stock that's behind the banks. So banks wasn't built off of money, guys. It was built off of surety bonds. Us, our parents, our ancestors. And this is why the Rockefellers and that other one over there in the UK, this is why they're so rich. And and this is why they keep getting rich. The only person who could take away their money is God. And the only way God could do that is to bring down the governmental system, which he's going to do one day. He's going to bring the system down one day. And when he does, he's going to collapse America. He's going to collapse a lot of other nations. But he ain't doing it because he still got children he want to get. If he allows this country and this world to collapse, he'll lose billions of souls. So we can pray all we want. Daddy, bring down this, bring down that. Because he already told me he won't do it. Not now. Because he'll lose a lot of souls. People will die. People will kill themselves. So all we could do is just pray the prayers that I've already given you today. And in the last teaching I gave you about your birth certificate and stuff, being part of the Marine Kingdom and stuff like that. All right. So now, oh, did I say that part? I'm going to read it again. so the very important thing you need to know about your birth certificate is that it's a document of evidence, right? And is somewhat similar to a receipt of an unpaid item. Because of this, you do not legally own your certificate. To be more specific, your birth certificate is a bond sold in commerce. Like I told you, banksters, there's some banksters out there, Illuminatis, that owns these certificates. Now, the ultimate ownership of all property in the state and individual so-called ownership is only by virtue of the government, like I told you. Now, how you were tricked, my head itching, excuse me, y'all, I gotta scratch my head. Now, I'm gonna tell you how you were tricked to agree to live in the land of the dead. How we and our parents was tricked. So, how is all this information related to us, right? It relates to us because we have been tricked and our parents and ancestors to play a role of a dead and fictional character. By agreeing to play the role of a dead and fictional character, you fall under the jurisdiction of the legal system, which is the system that deals with the dead. This is why God changes names. This is why God changed names in the Bible. Although their government system, they had a government system, they had kings over the government system and chiefs and dignitaries, right? But it was a different government system to what we have now. So this is why, wait, I forgot what I was saying. I forgot. Okay, this is why God changed names in the Bible. He even changed my last name. This is why God will have, and I know other people God came to in visions and told them to change their name to, you know, whatever. Because I used to wonder why God, I know he changed my last name because I still have my husband's last name and he's dead. So he didn't want me to carry the name of a dead man, right? And my husband's family full of heathens, all right, with a lot of generational curses. So he didn't want me to carry that. But I believe he also changed my name because of this, right? So you can change your name legally if you want to, because the Lord told me but you have to pray and ask God what you should change it to. I was even going to change my first name, but Daddy told me to leave my first name the way it is because my first name is known And if I change my first name, it would confuse things. So he told me to keep it, and he just washed my first name with the blood of Jesus, right? You can, and if you don't want to change your names, you can ask God to wash your names with the blood of Jesus. Wash away anything that means death to that name, or anything that the powers that should not be have put on that name. Wash it with the blood of Yeshua, your first, middle, and last name, and then you know, cleanse it with the blood of Yeshua and break the covenants and soul ties and all of that, and you're good. But this is why God, you know, will have people change their names, because of this. He knows these things, right? So now, have you seen the TV? Do you guys remember the TV series called The Walking Dead? Do y'all remember the series called The Walking Dead? And then they made a movie called The Walking Dead. A couple of movies. And then you know the zombie movies. I'm going to tell y'all some nuggets. Y'all know the zombie movies? Why you think they make zombie movies? Yeah, one day there is gonna be zombies, because there are gonna be so many bad viruses, and they're gonna be giving you these vaccines, and these vaccines are gonna have nanonots in them, which are little silver robots, and they're real smart. They can stay in your blood for years and never bother you. And when the time comes for them to bother you, they could restructure your whole insides, eat you up, and kill you. So we will have some zombies one day, because it's going to be from these vaccines and other things that's going to make people turn into flesh eaters, and the demons are going to get into them, right? So, but this is why they make movies called The Walking Dead and the zombie movies, because they basically taunting us, taunting and mocking God right in our faces, letting us know we the walking dead. This is why when you don't accept Christ, you are the walking dead to God. Doesn't God say that? You ever thought about, okay, why am I the walking dead to God and I'm alive? Why am I dead in the spirit but I'm alive in the earth? What I just taught you has a lot to do with it. So when you come to God, you accept Him, He washes you with the blood. You're alive. You ain't dead no more. Your spirit, you're alive spiritually and the physical. I mean, the spiritual, so then it makes you alive in the physical. But when you're dead in the spirit, you're dead in the physical. So it's when you start coming into this knowledge and coming into these things of God, you become alive. It's like he already brought you out of the dead when you accepted the Messiah. He brought you out the dead, but He want to keep you out the dead. He don't want you to go back to the dead. So how He do that? You got to be right with Him. You got to have a right relationship with Him. You got to obey Him. You got to, do His commandments to the best of your ability. Do everything you got to do and wash yourself with the blood of Jesus. This is why He said you got to die to yourself every day. And then He says, pray for knowledge. He says, pray for wisdom. Why? Because the more wisdom, the more knowledge you get, the more you become alive. The more you become alive, the more knowledge and the more wisdom you get, the more wisdom and knowledge you get, the more secrets you learn, the more revelation you learn that you would have never learned it if you didn't come to God. So every time you get new wisdom, like every time He give me new stuff, I read stuff, I go to Him, He tell me and it's giving me more life, and it's adding more years to me. Let's say maybe I was only allotted to live to 80, right? Because I came to God and got right. I could live to 120 now, because that's the age limit. Some people live to 130, okay? So the more wisdom and knowledge you have, the more you add to yourself, the more you add to your life, you add to your health. You won't be dealing with no sicknesses, because you got wisdom and knowledge of God. You living right. Even if you a little heavy like me. You know what I'm saying? You healthier than some skinny people out there. Why? Because you living right in God, and you let Him feed you His fruitful knowledge, His wisdom. That's why He say knowledge is power. What does power do? When you plug in, your cell phone is about to die, but you plug your cell phone into the socket and it comes alive again, right? But without that power, it would be dead. Without God's power, we be dead. And God ain't going nowhere. So as long as you right with God, He's going to keep empowering you. You'll live past the time you was allotted. God will be like, you know what? Okay, I allotted her or him to live to 80. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give him 20 more years. How many of you know God is the life giver? He can add years to your life. He could have allotted and said, okay, you'll die at 80, but because He's so pleased with you, He ain't ready for you to come home yet, because even in your 80 years old butt can still bring Him souls. Even if you can't walk and get out there and bring souls, you can pray. That's how desperately God needs people on the earth. He'll keep you here to 120. You might not can't get out there and evangelize, but your behind can pray. Your behind can pray for strangers. Pray for your family. That's all God needs is a prayer. That's all God needs is a prayer. Yeah, he needs us to go and evangelize and take the gospel out there. Yes, he does. But all he really needs is a prayer. You can sit right there in your house and pray for the whole United States and everybody in it. Ain't got to know them. That's all he needs. So when the devil come a talking, the devil be like, oh, ain't nobody praying in her family. Did you see my servant Rosalind? She's praying for the whole state of Georgia. She lives in Georgia. Did you see my servant Patricia? She's praying for the whole Atlanta area where she lives. Did you see my daughter Rose? She's praying for the whole area where she lives. Then the devil can't do nothing. So all God needs is a prayer. If you can't walk, you can pray. If your memory's still there, you can pray. That L. Thomas is not a God. That's the devil. Why you think L. Thomas is so rampant? Because if you can't even remember your own self, your own family, how you going to remember God's word? How you going to remember to pray for God? How you going to remember who you was in God if he take your memory from you? So that's why you need to pray. L. Thomas disease is not my portion when I get up in age. And God bless me to live a long time. L. Thomas disease is not my portion in Jesus' name. I ain't got no business with it. I cancel it. I rebuke it. I kill the seed. I kill the root of it. I send it back to the pit of hell where it belongs. It's not my portion, nor my children or my bloodline. I reject it in Yeshua's name. I terminate it with the blood of Yeshua. I put it under his feet to infinity in Yeshua's name. It's not my portion. Intelligence, wisdom, knowledge, discernment, revelation is my portion to the day God take me off this earth. I'll be a sharp 80, 90, 100-year-old person. Just as sharp as I am now. In Yeshua Jesus' name. You start praying to pray that stuff, watch it work. So this is why they got the zombie movies out here, because they taunting us. They letting you know you the walking dead. They is. And they letting you know what people going to look like in the future when the Antichrist got, because of all the poison they're going to be putting in people. Now, basically, they tricked us and our parents to agree to play the role of a zombie, the walking dead, a fictional character. So the zombies movies are fictional characters based off of us. The elite created the birth certificates with the legal name. The legal name is a legal fiction and is often written in all capital letters. The all caps name is one of the ways that they secretly tell you that you have agreed to play the role of a dead character. Now, for some reason, I like caps. And most people get offended when I send them something in caps. And they say, you don't have to yell. I'm like, I'm not yelling. I just like caps. Because caps to me, when you write something in caps, it carries some type of power. It lets people know how serious you are, how excited you are, or how mad you may be, right? But caps really don't mean angry. Caps mean power. Because your birth certificate, your name is in caps. Meaning it carries power. Not for you, but for the elite. So remember, next time you write caps, next time somebody writes something in caps, don't get offended. It doesn't mean they're angry. They're just exuding power. Because that's what it means. The all caps name is one of the ways that they secretly tell you that you have agreed to play the role of a dead character. The name in all caps on gravestones. You can find the all caps names on the government documents such as a state-issued ID. And do you notice on tombstones, they write your names in caps? When a person dies, they write their names in caps. You ever thought about why they do that? It's the same way it's written on your birth certificate, and it's the same way your name is going to be on your death certificate. Just the opposite. The birth certificate means you are birthed into slavery. Slavery is death. Death certificate means you have died, you have paid your debt, you have been a slave for a number of years, you have paid your debt to the powers that should not be, and now all your debt is released on this earth. But if you die not in Christ and you die in the devil, then you paying your debt in hell too for what you did on this earth. So it's double indemnity. When you sin on this earth, you become indebted to the devil. You owe him because you sinning, and he owns sin. Right? So God's blood cannot atone for you because there's no righteousness found in you. So when you leave here, your debt is finished on the earth to the devil, but then you got to go to the spiritual valley of fire, which is hellfire, and pay your debt dear. So it's double indemnity. But if you're a child of God, you really not paying any debt to the devil because you belong to God. Although you have the birth certificate, you know, and you still got to abide by the laws, God is protecting you. And so the devil, Satan, Lucifer, and them have no ownership of you. So when you die, it's still double indemnity, but it's a good double indemnity because you go to God and you pay your bet, because we're indebted to God. You want to know why? He gave us life. He let us come here. He let us live. He didn't have to let us come here. He didn't have to let us live the years that he let us live. He didn't have to give us the amenities that he give us, the luxuries he give us. Some people who follow me well off, some are middle class, some are still struggling, but you okay. He didn't have to give you your fine house, your fine car, your fine wife, your fine husband, your fine kids, all your beautiful clothes and luxuries, beautiful furniture, cars. You ain't got to worry about eating. Refrigerator's overstuffed. Cabinet's overstuffed. You giving food away. You're not entitled to that. God don't owe you nothing. So when you leave, you're indebted to God. But when you go to heaven, what happened? Instead of him making you pay a debt like the devil does, he gives you an inheritance. He gives you inheritance. So that's the difference. Double indemnity with God or double indemnity with the devil. Okay, so now, this is what the lawyers and the banksters and the politicians have used to enslave you. It's a crime known as presage, P-E-R-S-O-N-A-G-E, by arbitrarily creating an estate that named after you and claiming to own this thing they created. They have falsely claimed to own you and your assets and to legally buy and sell you on the stock exchange, ship you in and out of ports, and tax you for doing things you never done. After all, there is no law against enslaving an estate trust, is there? Or arresting a slave, or charging a tax, or imprinting revenue in Puerto Rico or anywhere else. Guys, y'all think slavery was abolished when they let the Africans go free and the black people go free and the Spanish people were enslaved at one point, but they weren't on ships. And other nationalities were slave too, but they weren't on ships the way the Africans or blacks was. So you think slavery was abolished? That kind of slavery has been abolished. But the secret slavery that's still going on in this world has never been abolished, and it won't be until God abolishes this world. So there are banksters that own our birth certificates and have gotten rich off of it. And everything we own, they could come and seize it at any given time. But they're not going to do that, because then they would be giving up their gain. Then it would be a revolt. If they started seizing our assets and our properties, and then everybody would have to know the truth. And then when that happened, it would be a revolt. And these people will wind up being killed and all kinds of stuff happening to them. So they don't want to die. So they ain't going to do that. But when things get really, really bad, like it says in the book of Revelation, you can best believe the IRS and the government will be seizing assets to cover stuff. It's already happened to other countries. Look at Greece. People was wiped out. People killed themselves. People went from a rich person to a pauper overnight. And you can't help but keep money in the bank. Especially you a person that got like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 grand, millions of dollars. You got to put it in the bank, although you can hide it in a Swiss bank account or a bank account in Geneva, whatever, right? You still got to put money in the bank, and they know this. You can't keep that kind of cash. But when they go digital, all your money going to be in the bank. All your money going to be on a card connected to a bank account. And trust me, they trying to go digital in the next 2 years, but God told me it's going to be like 5 to 15 years. 5 to 15 years, but they claim they're going to do it in a year or two. But God said we're going to see like Bitcoin, these coins, that's part of the digital system. And God said we're going to see them implementing it, but he said give it like anywhere from like 3 to 15, 5 to 15 years before it's like implemented worldwide. We're going to start seeing it in different countries like we have. And in our country, it's not mandatory, but they say 40% of Americans use digital stuff now, right? So within the next 3 to 15 years, it's going to be permanent. Everybody's going to have digital. Your cash money is going to be toilet paper. It ain't going to mean nothing. All your cash, you're going to have to turn it to the bank so it can be digital. And we're going to be walking around with debit cards. What, 40% of America? I know a person right now, I ain't saying no names, will walk out and have no cash. Not even $5. I'm like, how could you come outside and not have no cash? I got to have me some cash. I'd rather use my cash than my debits. I will actually go to the ATM machine or the bank and get money and spend it. Because I know they track you. They track you anyway. So why help them? Why help them? I turn all my tracking off on my cell phone. But when you call 911, they can still track you. But I turn my tracking off. All you got to do is go in your settings and turn it off. I don't want them tracking me. Every time you come out the store, how'd you like Red Lobsters? How did you like Ames? What? How you know I was in there? Here's some of your favorite places. I turned it off. I was watching this BP Earthwatch. That's his name. I was watching him. And he showed you how to go in your settings and turn your tracker off. And I turned it off. But it says when you call 911, they can still, they will be able to track you where you are because it's 911. It's an emergency. But all that other stuff, I watched BP Earth while I turn it off myself. And then my other phone, my Apple phone, I turned it off. I didn't turn the tracking off in it because I couldn't find it in there, but it's in there, right? He did it on a Samsung. But he said if you turn your phone completely off, they cannot track you. So I keep my Apple phone off. I only turn it on when I need to use it for business. When it's off right now in my other room. But when I'm not using it for business, it's not on. But this phone, I turned tracking off. I was like, he ain't tracking me. Wait, why you gotta keep tracking me? Telling me, oh, how'd you like Red Lobsters? Here's some of your favorite places. Here's some of your favorite places. Really? Okay, I got your favorite places. Okay. Okay, so this is why we have to pay taxes, because these banksters that own our birth certificate has turned us into individual estates. And when you have an estate, that means that's money that's revenued from a dead entity. So when a rich person dies, or middle class, and they leave houses behind, and wait, hold on, what is it? Wait, they leave houses behind, money, whatever, right? Oh gosh. So with estates, you have like, will you stop texting me? Like in the States, you have that's my daughter. I'm blowing up my phone. So let's say the person had a couple of properties, cars, money, right? And then let's say they have 5 children. But he made his uncle, the children's uncle, the estate holder. So he gets paid a little percentage, like 5 or 10% from that. What is it? It's from anywhere from 1 to 10%. The estate attributor gets paid because he was allotted to be the estate owner. So he is the one who will split out everything based on the will that was left behind. So these banksters have made us into the estate, and they have put their names over our names. So they are drawing off of the interest of our estates, which is our bonds, our surety bonds, which is our birth certificate. We are old. Let me tell you something. There's not a poor person on the planet. There's not an impoverished person on the planet. You're saying, Apostle, how is that? Because even though people are poor or impoverished, they're rich. If they knew how to get that money back from these Illuminati banksters, if they knew how to get that money back, everybody on this planet would be rich. Why do you think there's only, 100 billionaires in the entire world? I think it's 100 billionaires. And maybe a couple of thousand multimillionaires, something like that? Why do you think it's such a small amount of people that's rich, y'all? Because they got our birth certificates. Turned them into surety bonds in the states. That's why everybody won't be rich. But if everybody knew this information and God was with them and they did something about it, everybody on this planet would be rich. There would be no hunger, nothing. You would just draw for the money that they owe you from using your birth certificate. Because technically they don't own you. They own the name on the birth certificate. See, they don't own you. They know God owns everything. Even the things that God, like half human and half demons, even God owns that, because as long as it got our DNA in it, it's his, right? So they know we human beings belong to God. So they had to figure out a way to enslave us, to make us belong to them. They couldn't do it in a spiritual manner, but they did it in a physical manner. They gave us a name. Our parents named us. And because of that name, they slapped it on the birth certificate, legally signed us over, and based on our names, we were made into slaves. We were made into surety bonds by our names. Names have a lot of power. For instance, Rockefeller. Everybody who carries that last name that belongs to that family, they could do whatever they want. Get whatever they want. Credit don't even have to be checked. They say it, they get it. Snap their finger, they get it. Why? Because the name Rockefeller is powerful. The man who owns Facebook, people who own Google, YouTube, they ain't got to go through credit checks. Their name is so powerful, they could get whatever they want. You walk into a restaurant and hear the last name Rockefeller. Everybody tripping over themselves trying to get to you because of a name. Look at my name, Rosalind Solomon. I'm known worldwide. Although I ain't no big time famous ministry leader yet. This has been prophesied. But my name is still known. And I got thousands of followers. So why is my name known? Because God made it known. So once your name becomes known and there's power or money or something that can benefit others, people will trip all over you. When I talk to people doing coaching or something else, or if God say call this person, because I don't usually call people, but it's been a while since he did that. But every blue moon, he'll say, call this person. I call them. They're like, oh my gosh. Oh my God, it's Apostle. I'm like, it's just me. And when I go on Periscope, right? And now I'm talking to people live because I like that. They're like, oh my God, this is my first time talking to you. I can't believe it. I'm so blessed. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, but it's just me. Come on, right? No need for that. But why do they get excited? Because of my name. Because my name is known. They never talk to me. They just always follow me, like following a movie star. And then they get to talk to you, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh!" And I'll be like, "Huh? It's just me." I say it to like 2-year-old. It's just me. Calm down, little one. It's just me. and I ain't even like way up there like I'm supposed to be yet. Why? Because of my name. Now, if I wasn't known, I was just preaching on the street, I ain't had none of this, y'all wouldn't even know me and wouldn't even care to know me. And if you see me, I've seen people, Pat will tell you, I met people on the street. Especially when I met Edwin. He treated me like I was a movie star. And he treated Pat like she was my assistant movie star. I was like, what? And meet people here and back home. And they treat me like I'm a movie star. Then some people be like, Apostle, I'm mad. I wanted to meet you at the conference, this darn coronavirus. They be like, I was going to hug you, bring you a gift, bring you some money. I'm like, look, you can still send the gift and the money. You ain't got to wait for a conference. They be like, I was going to hug you and kiss you low, swole. Oh, no hug, no kiss. You know what I'm saying? That's what people were saying to me. They were mad because the conference. And they're like, well, now the coronavirus is up. You're going to have one now. Next year when I go home. Do you know how hard it is to plan a conference? And they got to cancel it and get back all that money? So I'm going to do it again next year. Next year. Okay, so now I'm almost finished. Why a birthday is a ceremony for celebrating the birth of a corpse, a dead person. Okay? By now, you should understand why a birthday is a ceremony for celebrating the birth of a corpse or a dead baby. Excuse me. Which is why they teach you to light candles. I don't want y'all about them candles. How many of y'all remember the teachings a couple of times I gave you? Don't be buying no candles. No. Not even the ones that make your house no good, because there is a demigod. He's a fat demigod. I mean, when I say fat, big. Every time you light them candles, he come and eat it up. Why you think the candles burn so fast? You think it's the fire that does it? Yeah, the fire got something to do with it, but it's the fat demigod that comes and eats it up. When you light candles, you opening up a can of worms. So this is why they have you light candles and stick them on the cake during your birthday. When it comes to corpse, people light candles. Remember when these, what's that boy name? He died in Illinois. The last name was Brown. Even this man who just died in Georgia, who was killed for no reason. Don't you notice they do night visuals? Don't you notice they have candles lit? Don't you know when somebody dies on the highway or the street, you ride by, you see teddy bears and candles? How many of y'all notice that? When people die, they light candles. What did I tell you? Bet you won't light a candle again. I bet you won't have a birthday cake again later. That's the moon goddess. That's who you really making that cake for, the moon goddess. Okay, so now. So this is why they have you light candles in the cake and stick them in the cake during your birthday. So when it comes to the corpse, people light candles to dispel the darkness, so the souls of the corpse can find their way to the home they're supposed to go to. So basically, when you light candles on your cake, and when people light candles as a ritual because somebody died in the dark world, in the spirit realm, you are lighting up the way for the dead to find its way to hell or to heaven. You're participating with the dead. What the Bible said, we have no business with the dead. I remember I wasn't even right with God. I was halfway with God. I was about to go fly to DC to go visit my dead husband, because that's where he was buried. Flew him to DC and everything. It was covered, right? And I buried him there because he was in the military. So he always wanted to be buried in the Arlington Cemetery. So the military paid for it, and he got buried there. So I was gonna go fly there, spend a couple of days in DC, and put some flowers on the thing. Daddy told me, he said, why are you going to put some living flowers on something that's dead and gone and ain't thinking about you, don't even remember you? I didn't know what he meant by not remembering me, because I knew in heaven you know each other. But now I know, because he was in another life. So at that time he couldn't remember me. I never went again. When you go and visit a dead cemetery, you are sinning against God, because the Bible says we have no business with the dead. And I was like, Daddy, but what about funerals? He was like, you can lay people to rest. You can lay them to rest. But that's all you need to do. Lay them to rest. You don't have to keep going back visiting the cemetery, because every time you do that, you're partaking with the dead. When you walk into the cemetery, you could pick up a spirit. That's why if I go to somebody's funeral, because I don't like funerals, and I haven't been to one in a long time, I don't want to, right? But God forbid if I have to go to one, right? I'm covering myself with the blood of Jesus, because you got all kinds of spirits in them doggone cemeteries just waiting to latch onto you. And you bring your babies with you to a funeral, and you don't even cover them with the blood of Jesus, and they more vulnerable than anybody. And then they walk out and they start being rebellious and acting crazy. You're like, what the world happened? They picked up a demon in the doggone cemetery. That's what happened. Cemetery is the worst place to be hanging out. people go there and put flowers on Grandma May, whatever, when she buried her, right? And then come back acting the fool. A demon that attached to him. That's the worst place you could go and hang out as, is the cemetery. Do you know how much witchcraft goes on in the cemetery? People be going to these witch doctors and witches, and they tell them, go and get this fish and put it in. Trust me, I know, because I knew people used to do this stuff. Go get a fish and put whatever kind of fish they tell you, and wrap it up in these oils and herbs in a bag, and put it in the freezer and let it sit in it for 3 days, and then take it out and midnight go and throw it in the cemetery. Do you know how much witchcraft is in the cemetery? Do you know how many witches go in the cemetery, and if they're powerful, they will, voodoo doctors, pull up a dead body and suck marrow out of it, because your bones still got marrow in it. Your bones still got a little water in it, because the earth got water in it, the dirt got water in it. Suck it out and use it against somebody. Cemetery is the worst place you could go to hang out. Go and put some flowers on some dead graveyard person, dead gone, ain't thinking about you. But you still put flowers there. Come on now. You got a memory. You're going to miss your loved ones. You're going to think about them here and there. But you shouldn't be going putting no flowers on their grave, for real. You're participating with the dead, and that's a sin against God. I just saved some people through the power of God. Also, and leave them candles alone. And incense too. God don't honor incense no more. You light them incense up, you letting in some devils. I'm telling you, you letting in some devils. Now, every time you light a candle during your birthday and stick them on your cake, your actions tell the dark forces that you consent to be a participant of the birthday ceremony, like I told you earlier, which is a ritual, which I told you earlier, for celebrating the birth of a corpse, a dead person. A dead baby is a stillborn child. Furthermore, you consent to be a dead person in a legal fiction, which is a corporation. So that's why I told you earlier, after I teach you this stuff, I'm tell you something. Anybody who's listening to me right now and in the archives, and you go back and you do your birthday, the devil gonna jack your behind up. Woo! He gonna jack you up because you know the truth now. And God gonna let him jack your butt up because you know the truth now. So you go and buy a birthday cake for yourself, your babies. You gotta sit down and talk to your babies. We can't celebrate no birthdays. Because it ain't good. It ain't a God. Children are smart. Sometimes they smarter than us. All right? So you go and celebrate birthday cake and all that stuff. Candle for you, your kids, husband, wife, whatever. You go ahead and do it if you want to. You're participating in a ritual. You are giving them permission to make you a walking dead. You are giving the dark forces permission to make you a walking dead and to basically own you. And you're also agreeing with the fictitious name that they gave you. Now, the name that your parents gave you, they enslaved you with that name. But then they turned around and gave you a fictitious name that you have no idea what it is. And so in my last teaching about the marine kingdom and how you birthed into that kingdom, I gave a prayer. So you might want to go look on YouTube, Facebook, whatever for that, right? But what you need to say is that fictitious name that they gave me that's on my estate along with my real name, I rebuke that fictitious name. I cancel it out with the blood of Yeshua. I wipe my name off of any documents they have with the blood of Yeshua Jesus. I am not a fictitious entity. I am not a fictitious corpse or dead. I don't participate in their ceremonies and their rituals. I don't celebrate a birthday. I don't celebrate pagan. I'm not in agreement with what they're trying to do to me. I'm in agreement with God, and I give it all to him. And Yeshua's name is sealed with the blood of Yeshua. So you got two names. Your slave name your parents gave you, and your fictitious name. Fictitious entity. I have two businesses. I got my ministry is not a business, but they make you turn it into a business because you have to get licensed and pay $35 a year and all of this craziness to just operate, right? Okay. But I didn't give my ministry a fictitious name. But my Wisdom of Essence coaching and training, I had to give a fictitious name because it's an LLC. So I had to give it a fictitious name so everything doesn't go under the LLC. Some of the stuff can go over the fictitious name. So if somebody try to sue me, they can't get my assets. Okay? Or when somebody want to write me a check, they ain't got to write out the whole name. You know what I'm saying? And even when you open your business bank account, you can put it under your fictitious name instead of your business name. So, I'm saying this, when you get a business, many of you who own business, you know what I'm talking about. When you get a business, you get a fictitious name and so forth like that. So, when they got your name, you became a surety bond, which is a business. So, they need to turn your name into an estate. So, they gave you a fictitious name to turn it into an estate. So basically, there's two funnels of money coming from your name. Your slave name, which is what you were born with, and your fictitious entity name, which is based on your estate. So they draw money off of you in two ways. Ain't that a blip? Now, a corporation is a corporation or corpse oration. In the plural form, the word corporation can be written as corpse. I taught y'all this before. The word corpse sounds similar to the word corpse, a dead person, which is defined as a dead body, usually of a human being. The dark forces are their legal system see you as a corpse to be used as a ration to feed their matrix. This is all about using symbols and the powers of words and numbers to trick you to agree to live in the land of the dead on the land of legal fiction, corporation, and corpse. Now, you know how rich people, the politicians, singers, actors, all of them who are down with these powers that should not be, they make these hand signs. Guess what they doing to you? So the next time you see somebody making a hand sign, you better rebuke it. I've been doing it for 3 years. I just forgot to tell you. But when you start seeing them making these signs, you better rebuke it in Yeshua's name. Because when they do it and you don't rebuke it, you've come into agreement, into allegiance of their God, which is Lucifer. Why do you think they do it? Lucifer does not need anybody to make hand signs to have allegiance to him. He knows who his children are. He don't need them to do the eye thing and the Horus eye, which is on the back of your dollar bill. Okay, they're all seeing eyes on the back of your dollar bill. He don't need nobody to do that. He don't need nobody to make no signs because he knows he owns you. But he makes them do it because when you go to their conference or you watch them on TV and you don't rebuke those signs that they make, you say, I rebuke that in Yeshua's name. I'm not in allegiance to Lucifer or his kingdom. And Yeshua's name, you don't say nothing. You just came into agreement with their kingdom and their master. So the next time you see somebody making some Illuminati signs, people make them by mistake. And this is how you could tell the difference. You're watching these pastors or you watching these famous folks, and the whole time they talking and they keep doing it, they doing it on purpose. But if you see them talking and they do it every blue moon, they still could be doing it on purpose, but there's a slim chance they're not Illuminati. Like I made the peace sign when I was outside the other day walking, what was it, Monday? I said, peace out. And I told you, I said, this ain't no Illuminati sign. I'm just saying peace. Now the peace sign is an Illuminati sign. When somebody's deaf, they can't hear, and you make the peace sign, or you do, those are Illuminati signs too, but the person that can't hear, you got to make the sign so they can understand. So it depends. But if you see a pastor or a famous person keep talking, and I don't want to do it, but you keep seeing them do that constantly, you better rebuke it. And stop watching them. I don't care how good it is. Because you coming in agreement with them. Lucifer don't need them to make signs. He don't need that. He knows who his kids are. He wants you to be inducted. Come on now. Where you think hand signs came from? Ain't nobody in heaven deaf. Deafness is not a God. Although God will make somebody deaf. People will be born deaf because it's a curse in their bloodline, or because of how they lived in their past life, and they have to come back here and suffer for a reason to make it back, But deafness is not in God's kingdom. So hand signs ain't in God's kingdom. So where you think hand signs come from? If you look at the hand signs, they are all Illuminati hands. Look, pay attention to hand signs. You will notice that every last hand sign is an Illuminati sign. That's where it came from. The powers that should not be. They the ones causing people to be deaf with these curses. Lucifer. So he gave it to him. Now, personally, me, it's nothing wrong with eating cake. It's birthday cake you should not be eating. Okay? I mean, I love cake. Nothing wrong with eating a cake. It's when you buy a cake that says happy. See, look, a cake is a cake. When you put words on the cake, you change it. Why? The cake is not alive, but the words are. So if you put happy B-Day on a cake, that cake has now become a cake dedicated to the goddess that's over birthday cakes. Why? Because you put words on there. Words are alive, whether they're written or spoken or thought, they're alive. Even anniversaries, marriage anniversaries. Do you know that's pagan, guys? You are coming into agreement. When Adam and Eve got married, they ain't need no birth certificate. No marriage license. When they got married back in the ancestral days, they ain't had no marriage license. They had a record of the marriage. Like my grandparents, when I looked them up on Ancestry.com years ago, and I found out that, well, I knew we had Australian and Dominican in our family because of my father, but when I found out I had German lineage in my bloodline. I had German lineage from slavery, right, on my grandfather's side. And then I found all this other stuff about them. I found out about great uncles and great aunts and cousins I never knew existed. I knew my grandma had 5 sisters, 5 sister brothers. Come to find out she had 12. I knew my grandfather was like the second oldest at 18. Come to find out it was 26 of them. You know what I'm saying? So I found out all this stuff about them, right? I was shocked, right? So this is why you need to learn your lineage. I ain't sending my blood into nobody for DNA, but I will, put a little information. And I found out this stuff. So it's very good to know your lineage. But if you get a cake and you put happy birthday on that cake, or you put happy anniversary on that cake, you have just made that cake into something else, and you have dedicated it to something else than God. Okay? When you say happy birthday to a person, and I'm going to tell you something, every person that tells you happy birthday unknowingly becomes in covenant with you in that ritual. They come in covenant with you. So this is why when people tell me Happy Christmas, which I rebuke his name, I always tell them I don't celebrate it because it's pagan. I give them knowledge. Some of them say I know already, and I say, why you celebrate it? And they say, because Jesus' birthday. Then I tell the truth about Jesus' birthday. And then some people say, I celebrate because my family put pressure on me. I said, so if your family jumped off the bridge, would you do it? And they say no. And I said, when you go before the Messiah and you tell him you celebrate these things, and he tell you get from before me, what are you going to do? And then they start thinking, and then they tell me thank you. So if you're going to tell people you don't celebrate these holidays, you must say, I don't celebrate them because they're pagan. Either they will ask you what you mean, or they will tell you they know, and they will tell you why they do it, and you must have a rebuttal for it. So they can be educated. Just don't be like, oh, I don't do birthday. You tell them why. Because they need to be educated. And it's up to them if they accept the wisdom of God from you or not. But once they become accountable of the truth and they continue to do it, the devil got them. He hammering them. This is why some people can't get breakthrough. Years and years and years. And they're good Christians. They live the good Christian. But they still celebrating these no-nonsense pagan day. Mother's Day is pagan. Do you know where Mother's Day came from? In Rome, the king sent a lot of his soldiers to do some kind of war. I forgot who it was. And the majority of them died. And the mothers were so heartbroken. They came to the king. They worried him to death. So to get them off of his back, he agreed to give them a holiday called Mother's Day. Mother's Day is actually a sorrowful day for mothers to grieve over the Roman soldiers they lost. Same thing with Father's Day. He sent them again in another war somewhere. Majority of the soldiers died. A lot of the children were fatherless. A lot of the wives were husbandless. So what he did was he gave them the Father's Day of sorrow. So when Father's Day come, they used to grieve, not give gifts. You see how the devil trick you're behind? 4th of July is pagan. 4th of July would not exist if 1776 independent regulation was not created with laws of man's bogus laws. So that makes the 4th of July pagan. Memorial Day is another Roman day for many soldiers that died in another war. Everybody was grieving against the king. So he said, I'll give you Memorial Day. So when this day comes, you grieve and bring flowers to wherever they are. Pagan. Valentine's Day. That's Marine Kingdom's Day. You know the little Cupid with the arrow going through? That's Samaria and Nimrod. Okay, Samaria was Nimrod's mom, and she married her own son. Okay, and so when you celebrate Valentine's Day, you are opening yourself up to the Marine Kingdom, because that's who owns that holiday. Why do you think they want you to give chocolate? Chocolate is an aphrodisiac. Chocolate stirs sexual arousement in people. So this is why they have you give chocolate away on Valentine's Day. And if you look up what Valentine's Day is, children die on Valentine's Day. That is one of the biggest sacrifices of Satan and his witches during the entire year. Valentine's Day. They got many other days that they sacrifice children in April and the month of May. But Valentine's Day is the most notorious day of sex. And the next time you want to go and buy somebody a Valentine's card, buy them a little heart shape. Why do you think the candy comes in heart shapes? Human hearts are being sacrificed on that day. And the next time you want to go buy your baby a card with some chocolate and some flowers, just remember how many babies are being sacrificed and have been sacrificed on that day. And remember, you opening up the door to these nasty sex demons called the marine demons. This is why some people can't get rid of them incubus, succubus demons, because they celebrating their holidays. Must I go on Thanksgiving? They say that come from the pilgrims. Okay, last time I checked, most pilgrims are Mormons, occultic, and you want to celebrate Thanksgiving. Christmas is Satan's birthday. Yah was born in September. Do your research. The Hanukkah they celebrate ain't even right no more. Lucifer done took it all. Easter, forget about it. That's Isis. Isis. The goddess Isis Day. The goddess of fertility. Why you think she used eggs? Oh, Lord. I tell you, if you people, in New Year's Day, that's the wine god. That's why people get drunk on that day. That's the wine and orgy god. Because on New Year's Eve, people get raped. People have sex because they think they need to. Because it's bringing in the new year. They drink and get drunk. So the orgy and the wine god is over that. But yet people go out here and celebrate these holidays, not even knowing they participating in rituals with Lucifer, Satan and them, and demons. And this is why some people cannot get breakthroughs. They live good as Christians but can't catch a break because you won't give up these holidays. And that snake hair that comes from the serpentine marine kingdom, and that makeup that comes from the marine tribes, tribal places in the water, you won't give it up. And the hair dye, you won't give it up. You won't give it up, but you want a breakthrough. You want a husband. God ain't gonna give you no husband with that mess in your head and on your face. Because as soon as your husband comes into you, like it says in the Bible, those things transfer right to him. So do you think God want to give you a man that's good and clean for you to mess up with your mermaid makeup, tribal makeup, and your snake hair weave and dye and perm? You think God want it? That's why some of you 20, 30 years ain't never had a husband. 50, 60 years old and don't even know what a husband is. Do you think God wants you to go 50, 60, 70 years old, never been married before? There's a problem there. There's an issue there. It's called spiritual. Something you do. Or it's either hereditary in your family not to be married. Either way, you need to take care of it. So some of you ladies wear this fake hair. Dye, perms, braids, wigs, tribal mermaid makeup. You ain't got a husband yet? You married and you barren? You might need to check with God to find out if that's the reason. You might need to find out. There's a reason why you 50, 60 years old and ain't never had a husband. Don't got no kids. I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings, and y'all know that. I'm just keeping it real. Ain't got no kids. There's a reason for that. God told Adam and Eve to multiply. That means he wants us to multiply. There's a reason why people get 50, 60, 70 years old and ain't married. See, I've been married before. I'm an older lady, but I've been married. My husband passed away. I got kids. So you know. But if you ain't never had no kid, and I'm about to get married again very soon. But if you don't have no kids and you ain't never been married, there's a problem. Either in your bloodline or something you doing, something you need to change or give up. You need to talk to God about that. You know, are you willing to give up the fakeness of the marine kingdom so you can get a good man? Because what makes you think God is going to send you a godly man when you got that weave in your head and that makeup and fake dye and all that crazy sexy dresses, boobs all out, tight clothes, bodycon dresses? Yeah, you think God going to send you a Christian man for you to jack his behind up? After God done cleansed him up, invested in him, and gonna send him to you and let you defile him with all your demons. That's why you single at 30, 40, 50, and 60. Or older. So you need to check with God. God, why I'm 50, why I'm 60, why I'm 70, why I'm 80. And I ain't never been married and had no kids. You said be fruitful. Why nobody in my family ain't getting married? What's up with that? Why are people in the family having miscarriages? Why I keep having miscarriages? Why am I barren? Why is my kids rebellious? Because when your little girl was little, you bought a lipstick. The baby lipstick. I did it. I had to repent for it. Bought a baby lipstick. Or baby lip gloss. Now they got baby eyeshadow. They got baby lashes. As soon as they born, you putting the fake braids in their hair. Because you too lazy to comb their hair. So you put the fake braids in their hair. You done already dedicated to the marine kingdom. They 8 years old. They grow up like that. All they want is fake hair. All they want is makeup. People even dye their children hair. Perm it. And they grow up. I want a perm. I want makeup. I want fake hair. Because you done taught them how to be that way. So you done inducted them. And God forbid they die and don't make it to God. You going to atone for them. You inducting your little girls. You're inducting your little boys. Let them have little gold streaks in their haircut. Giving them these funny haircuts. Do you know when you write letters, when you let your little boys, or you a man, and you let them shave words in your hair, do you know words have power? And you shaving words in your hair. You going to let them get tattoos. Inducting them to the kingdom of the marine kingdom. And you trying to get breakthrough. I just don't know what's wrong with my child. He's so rebellious. Wonder why. Or it's hereditary. So people, if you're one of the people I just talked about, you need to go and have a serious talk with God. And find out what you need to do to get your husband, get your wife, get your kids right, get a kid, get a job. Whatever it is you've been having a problem getting over years. I mean 10, 20, 30 years. When you're waiting on God to do something for you for 20 years, I could go with 10. Because in the Bible there was 12. I could go with 10 years. But anything past 10 years, guys, there's a problem. Even in 10 years, there's an issue. But I give it 10 years because the average person goes through wilderness 5-10 years. Average. But when you start hitting 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, that's a serious problem. It's either ancestral or it's something you've done or you're doing that you need to stop and repent for. And change. No one should be waiting on God 30, 40. Even Abraham didn't wait that long. He waited, but David waited 40 years. But while David was waiting, God was blessing him. See, that's another thing. If you wait in 20, 30, 40 years and you ain't being blessed, your life is not changing, things are not getting better for you, there's a problem. Because when David was in the wilderness for 40 years, God blessed him. Blessed him beyond measures, gave him all them wives. He came back with money, gold, silver. Everywhere he went, he was blessed. He was blessed. David too, when I just got to talk. That was David. And then even Samuel, he blessed him for a minute until he just had to stop blessing him because he was just so defiant. And if you just read the Bible, Abraham, when he was in the wilderness, he blessed them. He blessed Moses. When the Israelites got right, he blessed them. And they was in the wilderness. So that's a big difference. But if you're in the wilderness 20, 30, 40 years and you ain't changed, you're still impoverished, you still barely can make ends meet, something's wrong. It's ancestral or it's with you. And that's when you need to sit down like, God, it's been 20 years. 50, 30, 40 years. What is in my lineage? Or what is it that I've done that I need to repent for? Or what is it that I'm doing? Or what is it that I need to change and let go? Because I'm tired of it being this way. I'm fed up. 40 years is half your life. If you like 70, 80. You know what I'm saying? Or some people been in the wilderness all their life. Some people was born into wilderness. Do you want to live on this earth and be in wilderness the majority of your life? Do you want to live on this earth and be in the wilderness half of your life and not enjoy your life? Not get the things that God wants you to do and have? I don't know about you, but I don't want to. I don't want to. And if God is blessing you in your wilderness, that is a sign that you're going to be coming out of your wilderness. Because God is only going to bless something that's righteous and good. So if you're in the wilderness and he's not blessing you, it's because there's some righteousness that's missing and there's some goodness that's missing. Because God is only going to bless the good and the righteous. Sometimes he blesses sinners because he wants to bring them to him. But the majority of the time, he blesses the good and the righteous because that's in the Bible. So if you're in the wilderness and you're struggling, you're hungry, something ain't right with your life, and God is not blessing you, there's a reason. And you need to sit down and have a talk with him and find out what it is. Because it's a terrible thing for people to live on this earth and serve God all their lives, be so good to God, and don't enjoy your life. The Bible says he wants us to enjoy our lives. The Bible says he wants us to have good, righteous pleasures. And you live 60, 70 years and serve God, and you ain't never enjoyed your life because all you doing is fighting the devil. All you're doing is fighting the devil. I'm enjoying my life and fighting the devil at the same time, because we're going to have to fight. We're going to have to fight him regardless. You're going to have to fight him, good life or not. But you don't want to have a life where you just always fighting the devil, but you don't have no goodness. No spouse, no kids, no money. Always struggling. That's not how Christians supposed to be. When you first come to God, yeah, you got to go through that stuff, because he got to make you strong. But after a certain amount of time and years, you need to be enjoying your life. Like Abraham and all of them did in the Bible. David and all of them did. We're supposed to enjoy our lives. We're supposed to have righteous pleasures of God. We ain't supposed to be every single to every day battling. Every day something bad happening. Every day you get something good is taken away from you. Every day some witch is after you. That has to stop. God, it says in the Bible, God give you rest. Doesn't it say in the Bible, God give you rest? Doesn't it say in the Bible that God makes the enemy go away? Well, it's been 40 years and the enemy has never gone away. There's a problem. And you need to talk to God and find out what it is. Because me, when I see something happening in my life and I keep praying, and I ain't getting no breakthrough, I fast. Still don't get no breakthrough. I'm like, okay, God, what's the problem in me? Or what is the problem in my ancestors? What it's either going to be you or your past ancestors. Either or, you or your ancestors. And then he'll reveal it to me. I'm like, well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was wrong. I don't remember I did that. What? My ancestors? Oh, yeah. You think God just going to give you answers? At times he will. But most time, you're going to have to seek him out. The Bible says, seek me and ye shall find. The Bible says, ask and it shall be given. The Bible says, knock and I shall answer. The Bible says, forgive all the trespasses of others and I'll forgive you, and your mountains will be removed. All right, so I got to go. So I'm going to play one of my songs and then I got to go. Hold on. This one called Walk With Him. It's on my Beautiful God album called Walk With Him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope I forget this song. With Jesus, he will walk with you, but you gotta talk to him. With Jesus, he will answer your prayers, but you gotta wisdom. Don't give up to temptations. Devil mess with your imagination. Yeah. Many temptations. Don't laugh. I forgot my own song. I haven't sung it in a minute. Sing along and say, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Sing along and say, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Sing along and say, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Jesus knows the way. Yeah. He turned water into wine. But when those tears from your eyes, surrender all your burdens to Jesus. He'll take care of you. Yeah, yeah. Don't give up to the temptations. Devil plays with your imagination. Yeah. Our lives have many temptations. Give all your hope in Jesus. Hey, it just stopped playing. What up with that? Hold on. Computer's acting up. Technical difficulties. Very sorry about that. Very sorry about that. Hold on. Jesus, Jesus. Sing along and say, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Sing along and say, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Jesus knows the way, yeah. Get all your hopes in Jesus. Get all your hopes in Jesus. Put all your hopes in Jesus. Jesus knows the way, yeah. Put all your hopes in Jesus. Put all your hopes in Jesus. Put all your hopes in Jesus. Jesus knows the way. I don't know what's wrong with this player. The devil's a liar. Well, that was most of the song anyway. Alright, that was most of the song anyway. But that song is called Walk with Jesus. And that's on my album called Beautiful God that just came out April. In April. Alright? Alright, so let me put my glasses on so I can see what y'all saying before I go. Hold up. Pat gave me this thing, but I can't hook it up, but I could see, put it like this. Let me see. It still ain't making a difference right now. Yes, oh yeah, okay, man. Thank you so much, Possible. You're welcome, Juice. What up, Wendy? Oh, now I want to work. Hey, Rose. All right, guys. I gotta go. Y'all want to hear another one that maybe y'all didn't hear? Then I'm going to go. Anybody want to hear another one you might not have heard? I know Facebook is kind of slow, so I'm going to wait a minute and see. You too, Wendy. Hello, David. Okay, I guess nobody wants to hear another song. I don't see it. Okay, Ruby won. Anybody else? What up, Ruby? How you doing? Juice? Okay. Okay, this one is called, it's a little slower. It's called Can't Be Without You. Hope I forget this song either. It's called Can't Be Without You. It's on my Beautiful God album. All right, so if y'all want to stream that song, y'all can go there. If you want to buy the CD, it's 20 bucks. It has to be because I have to mail it, pay for that, and the envelope. And it has 8 songs. I had 40. I think I got like 20, 25 left. So if you want that, 20 bucks, let me know. Description box, put your name there, send it out to you. All right, so remember, 7 oil bottles left, 2 jewel bottles left. You want them? You want it mailed tomorrow? Get it today, because I ain't mailing no more till next week. All right, so be blessed, and I thank you guys for the time that you gave me for coming on here. And I hope you guys notice I've lost some weight. My neck is going down. It's still a little fat, but it's getting slimmer. I didn't walk today. I had to take a rest. Oh, my body was hurting, man. It was hurting. I was like, I got to wash my hair. I got to do the bottles today. I got to put these books in the envelope. Okay, so I stayed home today, but I'm going to start back up again. All right, so I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to try and put this on YouTube. So you don't want to use your data to come back and listen. Put it on YouTube. All right. So you guys have a great, awesome day and much love. See you soon. And remember, don't be doing no birthdays. And if you got to come back and listen, come back. All right. Love you. Shalom.